guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Brittany Bundles, and today's video is going to go over some tips on opening up your salon. I've gotten a lot of questions via email, DM, text, phone calls about some tips that I have for anyone that is interested in opening a salon in the future. So if you are interested in this video, please be sure to stay tuned. Give me a thumbs up, make sure to subscribe, and let's get right into this video. So the first tip that I have for you guys is to decide if you want your shop or salon to be full service, which is, licensed, or if you don't want it to be licensed. Different states have different state board requirements. The kind of salon that I was running was a braiding shop. So we did braids, natural hair cultivation, and like sew-ins, dreads, things like that. Really didn't do any coloring, bleaching, silk presses, anything like that in my salon. So you want to first determine like what you are going to be doing. Are you just going to be running the shop by yourself at first? Or you're going to be having, a group of women working with you or a group of people working with you? And if you are they licensed? Are they not going to be licensed? Is your shop going to be licensed? Is it not? Is it going to be a full service salon? Or is it just going to be catered to a specific service? Are you going to have lashes done in there? Are you going to have waxes? Like, what type of salon or shop do you want to open? So once you determine that, the next thing that you want to determine is your pay structure. This is if you are deciding to go into a salon, shop. Different people call it different things, but this is if you are deciding to open your business with multiple people like I did. When I opened my business, I'm not someone that does hair all the time. Like, I'm not I wouldn't consider myself a full-blown stylist. There are some things that I specialize in. There are some things that I'm comfortable with doing. But as far as just the full, pretty much me being experienced in all areas of cosmetology, that's not what I am. My whole purpose, like when I opened Btalks Hair Salon, I wanted to give other stylists in my city to have a way of pretty much advancing themselves without there being any competition. Because a lot of times I've heard from stylists, and I've also seen it, like when you run a shop or a salon, sometimes it can seem like to your stylist that you're kind of competing with them. All the clients are going to you and your family, or all the clients are going to you and the people that you like, or the people that you talk to. I didn't want it to be like that. I wanted to open up a fresh salon that catered not only to, braiding and sew-ins and things like that and dreads, but also a place where you can come and get assistance on building your website, get assistance on opening your hair business, purchase your hair in bulk, learn more about the drop shipping, purchase bundles that were good quality. So I wanted to bring that I am going to make another video about how that worked and what I'm going to be doing next. So make sure that you are staying tuned, because it's going to be a lot of information coming really soon. So if you are someone that is deciding to hire different people to work with you, then you want to make sure that you first decide what kind of pay structure are you going to be incorporating. Now, remember, if you're going to be someone that's actually paying your stylist or your employees, then you also are going to legally, I don't know all the laws in every state, but I know here in Michigan, you do have to also supply them with health insurance, and that can become very, very expensive. So what I was doing is I did a commission type of pay structure. So pretty much they could either do, when they first signed up, like a 50-50 split, or we could do, what was it? Yeah, it was a 50-50 split for a few weeks for most of the stylists, or they had an option to just go straight into paying booth rent. Booth rent was a really good option for people that already had clientele, or people that were very, very confident in their skills, and people that could pretty much make more money by just paying the booth rent, getting that over, and keeping all the rest of their profit to themselves. 50-50 is really a good option for people that don't really have that much clientele. So they're kind of relying on the shop's clientele, and they're kind of relying on their clientele to make that 50-50, if that makes sense. So it's a good starting place if you are looking at starting, your shop, and you're like, what do I want to do? It's a good option to be able to offer your stylist, like, do you want to do a split, or do you feel confident enough to be able to pay the booth rent? Also, if you are doing like a booth rent, then you need to draw up a contract. Make sure that you have a lawyer or an attorney look over it, because you want to make sure that you're not walking away from it without anything. You want to make sure that you're not getting screwed over. You want to have a clause in there about late payments, because trust me, even the people that when you hire people, you kind of think like, okay, I won't have any trouble with this person. This person was completely bomb. We hit it off in the interview, but I can tell you, like, when you start doing business with people, with anyone, things can change. When money's involved, a lot of things change. So I would just have something in writing. Even though I had contracts in writing, it still was times that certain people or certain, stylists that I hired would be like, I have to pay this, or why do I have to, you know what I mean? Things always change when money's involved. So make sure that you protect not only your company, but yourself. You want to make sure like, hey, we went over this contract and you signed this for booth rent. So this is what I do need. Now, there are going to be times where people can't pay their booth rent on time, or people forget, or, different things like that. So have some things in there about late payments and late fees if you're going to have any. And just keep in mind that it is a business, because it can very easily, you grow attachments to the people that you're working with every day, but you don't want that attachment to kind of override the business aspect and the respect that you guys have for each other on that level. Because it takes money to run the shop. It takes money to pay the bills. It takes money to pay your rent. And so you want to make sure that you're explaining that. And I'm just going to be completely honest with you guys. I charged $135 a week for booth rent. I thought that was very, 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 very reasonable. I went ahead and I looked around at what the other salons in my area were charging. I looked around at the area that we were in and the amount of walk-ins that we would have. And based on that, that's where I came up with the booth rent. $135 a week is very doable, especially since we were a braiding shop. You can do some box braids and get your $135 that day and be set for the whole week. You know what I mean? So I thought it was very reasonable, but you want to do that too. Kind of search around and see what other shops or salons are charging their stylists to rent booths, and kind of base it off of that. Also, another thing that you want to go over is the hiring process. So that was like my biggest struggle, I would say, is finding good stylists. And when I say good stylist, it's not as simple as finding someone that can braid. It's not as simple as finding someone that can do hair, because you can find people. Braiders come a dime a dozen. Good stylists, they're out there. They're easy to find, but I'm talking about people that are committed not only to doing hair, but actually being professional. People that are committed to coming to work. People that are committed to pretty much selling themselves. And a big part of being a stylist is promotion, and it is about marketing yourself. So not only are you looking for people that can do hair, but you're looking for people that can sell. You're looking for salesmen, because ultimately that's what it is. It's a sales job. You can be the best braider, but if you have a reputation for a bad attitude, you may not have that many clients. You can be the best stylist, but if you don't come to work consistently, you may lose some of your clientele. You can be the best at what you do, but if you don't work inside of like a shop or someplace that's professional, a lot of people won't take you serious. So it just kind of depends on that person. It's so much more than just can they do hair. And when I first jumped into the salon, I did not know all of that. Some things you learn as you go. You can read and you can research and you can study all you want, but when you're actually like driving, it's completely different than when you're reading a manual on how to drive. So there's some things that I learned along the way. So hiring is a big, it's a big portion of making your salon run efficiently. It's a big portion of how the vibes are going. You want to make sure that you hire people that aren't very catty, because another issue that I was having in my salon is when I would leave, I was told like the whole energy of my salon would change, and the whole like dynamic would change, and it would just be like so negative and so down, and stylists talking bad about other stylists, and stylists saying things about me that wasn't true, and stylists talking about the shop, and then the clients will come and say, hey, I liked my hair, but I didn't like that this about this other. It was just like so much drama, and I was just so shocked, because I'm like, when I go through the hiring process, I like to be there so I can make sure that I get a vibe for that person and I get a feel. And I didn't have any negative vibes or feels for anyone that I hired, or anyone that started working at Bad Chick Hair Salon. So I was thrown back, and it kind of left a bad taste in my mouth. Like, this is not what Bad Chick Hair is about. I've built this name, not even in, my home city. I built this name in other places. There's people that purchase hair from me in California, or people that purchase hair from me in Chicago, like people that know my brand. So it's just like, I I didn't work this hard pretty much to hire people to just try to tear it down. So hiring people, making sure that you actually pick the right people is so tricky to do. It's so expensive to do too, because you have to continue to pay for different leads and continue to pay. I was paying Indeed for leads. I was paying Google for leads. I was paying, who else? I was just doing so much Facebook ads. There was just a lot of stuff that I had going on to try to bring in employees. And it was so expensive, and it was just like a tiring process, because I'm like, I get people in, they seem amazing, but you never really know how well someone's going to work until they actually start working. The next thing that you want to kind of consider is your finance options. So are you someone that's going to go into getting a business loan, which I wouldn't recommend doing? I didn't take out a business loan to this day. I probably won't, just because when you open up a salon or a shop like in my city, it's very, very small. So I knew there was a chance that it could go really well, and it's a chance that it may not. So like I tell you guys all the time, I'm passionate about Btalks here, about helping women, but there's going to be different things that I try that don't give me the results that I'm hoping for. And at that point, I have to make a choice. Hey, do you want to stick in this longer, pour more money and time into this? And is it going to be worth it in the end? Or do you want to pull out? So those are kind of the choices that you have to make in any business, because you never know 100% how it's going to work. People start businesses. Let me just explain this. Some people start businesses and they're actually in business for a long time, not because they want to, but because they owe so much money where they can't get out of it. So pretty much they're working, but they're not getting the income off of it. They're working and they might be getting paid. Like for me, when I first started Btalks Hair Salon, I had two stylists, and they were 50-50 at that time. So you do the math. My rent was over $1,500 a month. And that's not even including utilities or anything like that. So I wasn't able to pay my salon rent based on my stylist. You know what I mean? So even when they started paying booth rent, $135 a month, $135 a week, it's like five something a month. That still is not enough to cover what I had to pay here. You know what I mean? Just to stay here. So you have to realize that when you first go into a business, you're going to lose money. Putting out money for hiring different people, putting out money for different ads, dropping stylists left and right, the drama, it is a lot. Let me just say that. So I never wanted, and I didn't know exactly what I would go into, like the depth of everything. I didn't know how deep the salon business would go or anything like that, or how it would really turn out. But that's why I didn't take a business loan. You don't want to take a business loan. I don't want to say you don't, because there are people that take business loans and do great, but I'm just someone, I don't want to be too much in debt. I definitely want to follow my dreams. I want to do what it is I want to do, but I want to be realistic while I'm doing it. And I don't want to just say, you know what, let's take $30,000 out and run this shop like it is, because I got offers to do that. My credit is good enough to do that, but I didn't want to do it. So you have to decide what you want to do. Do you want to take out a business loan? Are you going to just save some money, get a spot and see how it goes? Are you going to call in investors? There are some people that will invest in your company, that will invest in your brand, especially if you already have like a name established for yourself. Like Btalks Hair, my name was pretty, I don't want to say it's completely established everywhere, because not everyone knows who I am, but my name is pretty, it's out there. So different people, and more than just people that know me personally, know my company. And so I could have gotten investors too, but then I didn't want to do that. I'll go into another video about investors as well. So you kind of just want to figure out like how you're going to get the money to do what you want to do, pretty much. Another thing that I want to go over is location. So you want to make sure for me, I kind of just jump into things. So I knew that I was going to be in this city for a really long time, not a really long time, but at least for a few more years, because my kids go to school here. I have a home here. This is where I'm established. So I just opened a shop here. I knew that the city, based on, like the clientele and the demand for virgin hair extensions and just the area, I knew that it was going to be a very hard challenge and a struggle to make this what I envisioned it to be. But I was willing to take that risk. I was willing to take that chance. So for you, you have to decide, like, where do I want to open up my company? If I had a choice to open up Btalks Hair any place, it would definitely be in California, because that's where most of my clients are at. It's a really, really great area. I don't think it's too saturated. There's a lot of companies there, but I personally, my heart is just driving me to open something in California. So that's where I would do it if I do it again. You want to figure out, are you going to be leasing a building? Are you going to buy it out? Are you going to do like a land contract? When I first went into bad chick hair, before I actually opened and I was looking at different places, I was looking at getting another mortgage for a salon, because I'm like, once I pay that off, then it'll be mine. But I didn't know if I wanted to stay here for a long time, and I didn't know if it would work how I wanted it to work. So I didn't want to really sign another mortgage and have 2 mortgages in the city, and then I'm moving and I'm trying to get a mortgage somewhere else. I don't like to be in a lot of debt. So I didn't do that. But those are some of the things that you want to think of. Where are you going to open up your shop, and what kind of options are you looking for? Are you looking for a lease, buy to own? Are you going to do a mortgage on it? And then if you do, the last thing I just want to kind of finish up saying is, like I said before, I'm going to do a video on how my experience went with the salon, how it's going with it, and what I feel at the end of the day, and if I'm going to continue with it, if I'm not. But pretty much I want to say, don't be scared to do anything. There's always ways around things. Even if you sign a lease, there's a way that you can get out of a lease. There's a lot of times there's buyouts, but before you sign any lease, make sure that you look into, you have your lawyer, you have your family, you look and read over your lease. Make sure that it's something that you can get out of if you are interested in. I don't want to say if you are interested, because no one's going to be interested in getting out their lease. Obviously if you sign it, you're thinking that you're going to be there, but you still want to make sure that in case it doesn't work out how you plan on it working out, that you still protect yourself and you're able to get out without owing a lot of debt, because there are a lot of business owners that went for their dream and it didn't work that way, and they were just like swamped in debt. Bankruptcy came, and just a lot of different things. And it's not the end of the world if you file bankruptcy or anything like that, but I'm just saying, if you can prevent it, let's prevent it. So I'm here to kind of go over my experiences and things that helped me, and things that you should probably think about before you open your shop. If you guys have any questions, feel free to link them down below, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.